Today on this deck, I just wanted to get the drive pulleys and everything off and start looking at those. I've actually already bought one of these. That one was really bad. And this one here, it's loose, got some clearance in it. I wanted to take that apart and see if I can just replace the bearing in it because it's a pretty expensive part. So I'm going to go ahead and start and try to get this spring off of here. I'll just pry it off. Usually use my nut driver trick. Try to do it one-handed. Yeah, piece of cake. Yeah, just leave it. What I really like about this setup is the belt guides are actually part of the bolt that holds the pulley on, and they're all like that. So there's no adjusting, no messing with it. They lock in nice and snug into their brackets, and everything is one convenient piece. I guess the only exception is this guide here, but I don't think there's a lot of adjustment to it. Back on some of the older models, you would have a belt guide kind of like this, held in with a couple bolts, and if you had to pull the belt off, you had to loosen that, pull it away from the pulley, yank the belt off, and then when you went to put the new belt on, you were messing with this. You were kind of fidgeting with it to get it on there right. This is much easier. No thinking required, which I'm a big fan of. So I guess it's just 15 mil to get each one of these things off. There she goes. Oh my. Not so bad. Pretty rusty. Oh, there's a spacer in there. Okay. So it looks like if I can split this, I can pull that bearing right out of there. Oh, I wonder if that's important. Guess I'll find out. That was easy. Okay, so I got the pulleys off of there. I'm going to go through these one by one and kind of inspect them. This is the one I knew was bad. It was making a lot of noise when I'd spin it in place. And now that I got it in my hands, I can kind of spin it, hold the bearing, spin the pulley, and it doesn't feel good at all. It's real grindy, I would say. Doesn't feel very smooth. Doesn't actually have a lot of slack in it. It doesn't feel like worn out. I don't know, maybe it got debris in it or something. It doesn't feel very good. Fortunately, I've already got the replacement. This was about $18 from the local Deere supplier. And it feels liquid smooth. Feels like butter. Yeah, it feels real nice. And this will run, when that deck's running, this will run silently. Okay, next up we got the large, what is this? This is like a 5 inch, probably about a 5-inch flat pulley. So the back of the belt runs on that. And it's got a big enough bearing I could put my finger in it. It doesn't feel too bad. Spins freely, just fine. It's making a little bit of noise. And I think this one is cheap enough, I might replace it. So that smaller one I think was $18. And I look in the aftermarket once in a while, and I might save a few dollars buying aftermarket. I just go to the local deer place and get their stuff. I think it's just as good, if not better. Yeah, I'll have to investigate this one a little more. It's not too bad. Finally, I got the sheave pulley that was right on the bottom. There's the spacer for it. Looks like it has the same bearing in it. And it doesn't feel too bad, but it's got some play in it. It's not as bad as I thought it was initially. I wonder if maybe the bushing's worn. Let me check the other one again. See, it doesn't feel quite as good as this one, although this one, here and there, it's got some grindiness to it, but it's not that bad. I think just that small one was the major problem, but while I've got it apart, I might as well. I'm really good about getting into the might as wells. I might as well replace it. I was looking over this wheel. Check that out. That's just worn right out. And I noticed something else. This plastic wheel is worn right into this bracket. Just this little plastic wheel right there is worn in this bracket about halfway through, maybe more. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, oh, this plastic stuff, cheap plastic. They make everything out of cheap plastic nowadays. Well, you know what? This plastic just wore that metal. Of course, it took, what, 12 years and 600 hours of use, but plastic, it's pretty tough. Say it's maybe better than it used to be. So this wheel's pretty well hogged out. The thing is, it looks pretty good, but when it's hogged out like that, bouncing around, that's no good. I'm going to have to replace that. And I don't know if this is repairable at all. It's pretty bad. Whew. Maybe some weld work? I don't know. I don't think it's worth it, but I was just kind of fascinated by that. Oh yeah, look at the bolt too. Look how that thing's worn. I can't focus in on that. Just worn right out. That thing needs a new bolt. I could put a new wheel on there, but that bolt, if its diameter's too small, it's going to be wobbly anyway. So looks like I got more parts to put on. Huh.
Hey, thanks again for watching. Next time, we're going to put on new pulleys and new guide wheels. See ya.